The Quench, where you ask, we answer.
Now, the effects of election violence are dire. They affect every person, regardless of your tribe, your age, your gender, no matter your personality, no matter where you come from. It does not matter. If you're part of an election violence, you suffer the consequences. The worst part of it all is that the youth are a major part of the election violence. They're part of the instigators. They're part of the people that are paid to take part in the violence, in the burning of cars, in the breaking down of buildings, in the beating up of people, in the battles with the police. At what point does this political violence stop being political and starts being personal? At what point does it all stop being about elections and starts being about tribe? It starts with the youth deciding that the other person deserves to be put down just because they have a difference of opinion. A matter that we should talk about here and call out right here at The Quench. My name is WANGECHI, KARIMI, and today we are discussing election violence. And to see through it, I am hosting Mr. GACHOHI and Mr. NDUNG'U. You two will introduce yourselves and give us a brief bio of yourselves. Tell us what you have to do with politics and elections. And then I am also hosting a very knowledgeable and wonderful audience that will serve as statistics for the people out there. We want to hear your stories, and we are hoping that the audience today will give us those stories on your behalf. Now, I'll start with you, Mr. GACHOHI. Introduce yourselves and give us a short bio of yourself.
Good evening, viewers. My name is MWALIMU GACHOHI. I have been a trained teacher and working as a teacher I actually worked as the TSC for 31 years, 5 months and 24 days. But I retired from the 1st of November. Last year, I took what we call voluntary early retirement, which is allowed by the law. So I am no longer in the classroom teaching. But after retiring, I actually stood for the seat of the senator in Nakuru County under Jubilee ticket. And we ran the course, but finally the party gave the ticket to one of my opponents then, whom now I am supporting, Wakili Lawrence Karanja. And once he was given the ticket, I myself, bad as I felt, I decided that I'm going to support those people who are now running under that formation.
Nice.
I think that's what I can say. I've been a teacher, teaching chemistry and mathematics in various institutions, but right now I'm in the political space. But I also want to say I am there even as a Christian. I am born again, and Christ is the Lord over my life.
Nice. Yeah. It was wonderful to see that you have experience dealing with the youth, and you also have experience dealing with politics, the two agendas of the day. Pastor NDUNG'U, introduce yourself.
Hi, how are you? I'm Jimmy NDUNG'U. I'm a pastor. I've been a youth pastor for over 15 years. Now I'm the senior pastor of Word of Faith Church, Nakuru. I also once vied in a political competition. I was not elected. I did like my friend. Once I got there, I supported the others and I did it peacefully. I'm also a victim of post-election violence. I was moved from Eldoret to Nakuru in 2008 by post-election violence. So I'm in Nakuru, not by choice, but courtesy of whatever happened, I found myself in Nakuru. So I believe I'm one of the right people to talk about and prosecute this agenda today.
Nice. I'm glad you also have experience in election, politics, and violence, the three agendas of the day. Now, let's start with the audience. It takes time to notice that people every day, people, young people especially, are losing faith in our politics. Every single day I meet a young person who will confidently say, I will not vote, I do not see any change. I will not do this, I do not see any change. I want us to understand, do we have a role to play in politics? And I want to take it to the youth. Tell me, do you think you have a role to play in politics? I want an echo. I want combined answers. Do you think you have a role to play in politics? Yes. You say there's no one who's saying no. You're saying no. All right. So let's start. What is the role you think you have to play in politics?
As youth, most of the times utasikia watu wakisema that our leaders wenye wako watatusaidia and all that, but if you don't vote for the person you believe atakusaidia, then nani atakuja kuweka watu kwa hiyo power watusaidia sisi kama youth? First of all, youth are the most educated people right now in the country because wako shule, campus, hapo hivyo, si ndio? So hakuna vile utachia an 8-year-old akuja kuchagulia mtu mwenye unataka akuendeleshe kima. So right now technology and all that imekuja, so we are in a new century. Hakuna venye walisewa the older century watatusaidia na shida za kisasa. So as youth we need to vote.
Yeah, so according to Victor, it is the role of the youth to vote. That is one role. Another one.
As for me, I say we have a big role to play. Because first of all, we are Kenyans. We should be patriotic to our country. So, na pia hizo stuff za kusema our leaders watusaidie. But the ones wenye tunafaa kuwatoa kwa hiyo kiti. Tuweke those people wenye tutaona watatupatia that change and sisi tunafaa nini? Tunataka. So we should vote. Ndio, tuweke wale wasi wenye sisi tunaona watatusaidia kama vijana, pia kuendeleza nchi ya economy and that we need peace. So we should vote for change.
Okay. So Africa and Kenya in particular have the highest numbers of youths among all the continents in the world. So that means that we, the youths, have the say. Actually should have the say, because we hardly have any, but should have the say when it comes to politics and elections and thereafter the violence that follows. Now, before we go on with that topic, I want to ask the guests for today, what do you think is the role of the youths in politics and particularly elections?
Thank you. I think it is not merely voting. Voting is the final product. It's actually the last stage. Politics is not just when, it doesn't just come 5 years. Politics is about division of resources. And this division of resources take place every single year. That's why we have a budget every year. If you look at, for example, at the county level, we have what we call public participation when it comes to projects and when it comes to the issue of formulating the budget for an year. Now the youth, as one of the participants here has said, being the informed lot, they should actually actively participate in those public participation forum, where they say we think more money should be given to this other than this, because of this. In other words, use that knowledge to ensure that it serves the public. The other thing that I believe that we need is lobbying. The youth, one of the things that people don't know, even probably even the church, they don't know the power of lobbying. Active lobbying, whereby you can form a lobby group and you start lobbying for a certain project to be put in your place, or you start lobbying for a certain law to be put in place, or you start lobbying for, there are so many things that you can lobby for in politics without actually standing for a political position. But you can form lobby groups. The youth can form lobby groups. So involvement is more and beyond the voting. Voting simply comes towards the very end. It's the culmination. And after voting, most people think that they have carried out their civic duty of voting. Now it is upon those people to decide whatever they want to do. I say no. We need to also, part of the lobbying should be to hold the people who are elected to accountability.
Yes. Okay. Nice.
Thank you. There is a Scottish statesman called Edmund Burke who said that the only thing that is necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. We have so many good men doing nothing. And the majority of people in that group are young people. They don't think they really matter. Yet, today and tomorrow belongs to them. They should actually be more proactive. They should actually be acutely aware that the people that are messing our country are really messing their lives. Some, by the way, they are in their sunset years. Some of them, that are misbehaving around and doing things that ought not to be done are in their sunset years. But the young people should, as my colleague has said, get it in their minds. Our life is ahead of us. So things have to get better and get active. The same statesman also said that when bad men combine, the good must associate. Else they will fall one by one, an unpitied sacrifice in a contemptible struggle. Do not make these elections a contemptible struggle. Eti sasa ni struggle yenye baada ya election mutachekwa, mkiulizwa sasa mutadu. Tutawapeleka venye tutataka, sasa mutadu. Guys, you have something to do. And so the thing to do is to lobby, to organize, not only to agonize, but also to organize and vote in people you know will deliver. That way your life will be better.
That is really nice.
Maybe I can add one more.
Are you sure?
I believe that the best, if at all we want to have, to be very successful in anything, whether it is in marriage, the earlier you start, the better. The earlier you start anything, the better. I can assure you that.
I will hold you by your word in another topic.
And therefore, I would want to say that I look forward to a time where more and more young people in their early 20s going on are also standing for political positions. So participation is not on merely voting, but even these young people should also be standing for political position. And most of them, most of them simply fear because probably they don't have money. They should know. I've been in the political space. Some of the young people who are standing even this time, it's not that they had money. Some of them are fresh from college and they actually don't have money and they don't have a lot of support from the family. I have even somebody name with hell whereby huyo ni mtu ambaye anafuga kuku huko nyumbani. Ile kidogo anatoka nayo anaenda sasa kufanya siasa. And it's a lady and she made her mark.
Wow.
She made her mark.
Okay. Now, before we go on, I would like to point out a few things that they have said. Public participation, lobbying, activism, as Mr. GACHOHI has said, are some of the things that you as the youths can do when it comes to political interference. You don't have to just vote. You have to take initiative to ensure that people who will run your future, ruin your today for your tomorrow, or alter your today for tomorrow, alter them correctly. Now let's move on to what you said, political activism. Now I wear so many hats, and one of them that I wear is an environmentalist. And every single day we are always lobbying for one thing or the other. And the conflict between man and the environment has always been there, and it's always going to be there, and we're always going to lobby for these things. And we have seen change. However, one big thing that happens when it comes to political things is when people get together and start putting out their political views, they start being looked at as political vigilantes, okay? So we have seen peaceful protests turn into tear gas and things like that. And I believe, speaking for the youth, that is one of the reasons as to why people refuse to lobby, people refuse to become activists. I'm going to let my audience give me a few views. Why do you think you will not stand up against a wrong leadership? Why do you think you as an individual and a representative of the world out there will not say, no, enough is enough? You will not tell that MCA, you're not doing this anymore. Why do you think you want to do that?
One of the things I will say is that we are living in this generation yenye nitakuja niongee mchana, jioni nitaenda home peke yangu, hamtakuwa na mimi. And that person uliongelea kumhusu, atatuma wase, and people will come and watakunyamazisha hivyo. That is what I have a scenario. I won't mention the names.
Please give us the scenario. Yes.
Yes, and so there's this person mwenye alikuwa tu mtaa kwetu, and aka organize tu mbogi tu hivyo, wasetua mtaa hivyo, and they started saying, hey, sijui tutataka, it was about one huyu politician amekuwa akikuja mtaa, anavuruga watu, alafu ananyamazisha wengine na pesa.
Okay.
So like anatumia pesa a lot. Like about the most politicians wenye wamekuwa akikuja mtaa, especially at this time, I won't lie, they have been using a lot of money, and they are coming, throwing money to the youths, money to the elderly, money to the parents, and telling them, now if you vote for us, we'll be giving you more. The other day, a politician came, alikuwa anapea watu 700 everyone, and we were more than, watu walikuwa hapo, they were more than 500. There were many. So, watu walitokea. So, and huyu msee akaongea. But jioni alikuja akaingia kwake, vile tu aliingia tu kawaida, and wase wakatumwa. But wase wengi alikuwa anasema ni wase tu huko tu mtaa, anawajua, ni kama alikuwa ana recognize voices. Anaona ni wase tu walirushwa tu pesa. Tushilingi kidogo hivi, kidogo ni amekutwa, kidogo ako hosi. Ataongea tena the other day, utanyamazishwa hivyo. So that is one of the fears yenye youth wanaogopa. Mimi nitakuja niongee, alafu niwaongelelee, alafu jioni nitaenda peke yangu. Mimi ndio nitapigwa peke yangu. We will not be with you people.
Okay, let us get another example of why are you afraid of taking that activist step?
On matters about public participation, yeah, it works.
Yes.
But as a youth, you go to those barazas, umekaa hapo wewe peke yako youngster, umekaa na watu wa 30 years, 50, 80s. Do you think watakusikiza wewe? Wewe ni mtoto kwao. Hata Kenya utasema, maybe you're right, you have the information and all that, but your age, ukiongelesha watu wazee hawezi kusikiza, you can't influence them, hauna your influence. So I think pia age is a big factor.
It is a big factor, and that is why we are having this discussion. Let me get one more view from my audience.
My name is Melissa. I believe that a certain mentality has been passed down from the parents to the youths since time immemorial. Okay, not time immemorial, but sorry. Some qualities such as tribalism have been passed down from like the parents to the youth. So a certain mentality towards certain things are passed down. Yes, some youths have change of mentality, but you are one amongst many, and you stand up, you try to speak. It's just a voice. It may change a few minds, but maybe not make a big impulse when you're alone. So
okay. So one thing I have noticed you're saying, it's the fear. Yes, my panelist, that fear, they have the fear of kukutwa peke yako. He says you go home alone and you have to deal with the circumstances and the consequences of that. The aftermath is dire and they're scared of the aftermath. Then we have the standing as a youth with the he said age, yeah? So you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, and someone is in their 80s and they do not understand what you're saying and how you're saying it. You don't have respect. And she also said you're one in a multitude. The fear of not having a backup. Let's get the last one, yes?
Hi, my name is Bikoro. I wouldn't vote because I don't trust our electoral process. I wouldn't participate in the public, whatever, participation things because I don't believe they'll take up what I'm saying. I believe they're putting up the public participation forums just to put a show.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I don't trust that they'll actually take up what I'm saying.
How many agree with I? So a few heads. Just as many as that agree say aye. Oh, okay, those ayes are many. All right, so it's point to notice that there's the fear, there's the standing at one amongst many, there's the age factor, and there's also I do not trust the electoral process, as Bikora said. I have one question before we go and break. Do you think all of those factors that have been mentioned here today are the reasons the youths get involved in election violence? Okay, I love the skeptical faces. Let us discuss this and further when we come back from our break. My name is WANGECHI, and today we are discussing election violence right here at The Quench.
The Quench, where you ask, we answer.